Hello everyone, welcome to our today's session on current affairs for beginners. In this session, we'll see what are the various terms, concepts or any institutions that appeared in the Hindu newspaper, and this session is to help the beginners while reading the Hindu newspaper. Before starting our today's session, let us see what are the answers for the questions from our yesterday's video. Which of the following statements is or are correct regarding the Monetary Policy Committee? I have said yesterday that this is a 2017 prelims question. It decides the RBI's benchmark interest rate, that is, we have seen yesterday, it will set the repo rate. It is a 12-member body including the governor of RBI and it is reconstituted every year. We have seen that this Monetary Policy Committee is a 6-member executive body which comprises of 3 members from RBI and the other 3 will be nominated by the central government. It functions under the chairmanship of Union Finance Minister. We have seen that the chairman, that is RBI governor, is the ex officio chairman of this Monetary Policy Committee. So, as both the statements 2 and 3 were wrong, only one is correct. So, the answer here is A. The second question is, consider the following statements. Starred question needs to be answered in written format by the minister. Yesterday we have seen that in a question hour, there were 3 types of questions. One is the starred question, unstarred question and short notice question. And the starred question has to be answered in a oral format, and since it is being answered in an oral format, supplementary questions can also be asked to the minister. During the question hour, a private member can also be questioned. This statement is correct. Yes, questions to the private member can also be asked. So as the statement 1 is wrong, the answer here is only 2. So the answer is B. These are the topics that we are going to cover in our today's video. We will see Oxytocin and its function, and we will see about this issue on this SC/ST Act, and we are going to see what is meant by this data localization and what is this Cloud Act, and we will see about this National Commission for Backward Classes, and we are going to see about Dal Lake and Bandipur Tiger Reserve. Now let's start our today's session. Our first article is ban on oxytocin likely to be lifted. What is this oxytocin? Oxytocin is a hormone that is made in the brain and it is secreted by the pituitary gland during human bonding activities like sex, childbirth or breastfeeding. During these actions, this hormone will be released. So that this is also called as love hormone, and this hormone also acts as both as a hormone as well as brain neurotransmitter. As we have said that it is released during breastfeeding, this oxytocin drug will help women as well as female mammals to produce milk. And it is used by the dairy owners and farmers to boost milk production and to make the vegetables look bigger and fresher. And this drug is being injected into the cows and buffaloes so that it is affecting even the health of humans who will consume the milk. It was thought that indiscriminate use of this oxytocin in the female mammals by the farmers, it has caused irreversible hormone damage and it has reduced the lifespan of these animals. And by consuming this milk, it is even affecting the humans. So that is why a ban has got imposed on this oxytocin. Our next article is managing perceptions. From the viewpoint of pragmatism, the centre had no choice but to amend the SC/ST Act. What are those provisions that the centre wants to amend in this act? Based on the findings from the National Crime Record Bureau report, the Supreme Court in Subhash Kashinath Mahajan versus State of Maharashtra case, the Supreme Court has given a judgment on this SC/ST Act. The rules that were laid down by the court were the bar on anticipatory bail under the Act need not prevent courts from granting advance bail if there is no merit in a complaint. The Supreme Court has said this in the context that innocents should not be terrorized by the provisions of this SC/ST Act, because there were many cases where false cases were registered as per this act where the innocents have got affected. And the other provision is there can be an arrest only if the appointing authority, it is in case of the public servants, or else it is the DSP in case of others, they should approve the arrest. And the other provision is there has to be preliminary inquiry into the complaints before filing the FIR. This Supreme Court judgment is to balance between the protecting the rights of weaker sections and the right of innocence, saying that Article 21 is for all. But due to various protests saying that the dilution of this act will increase the atrocities against the Dalits, and most of the incidents that were happening will not get reported because most of the Dalits were not educated and they don't even know that it exists. And most of the Dalits, they don't even register cases in the fear of retaliation by higher caste, especially in some villages in India. Still the upper caste control the law and order machinery, because of which the conviction rates in the caste related crimes were becoming low. So due to all these agitations and protests, the government wants to revoke this 3 provisions from the Act. Our next article is Bandipur. Ministry overlooks key issues. From this article, from the prelims point of view, we should know various tiger reserves and its location. In this article, we can see a tiger reserve called Bandipur is mentioned, and it is located in Karnataka. In 1974, this Bandipur National Park was established as a tiger reserve under the Project Tiger because of its huge tiger population, and these tiger reserves under the Project Tiger were administered by National Tiger Conservation Authority. So as I said that for the prelims, note down if any tiger reserve or a national park appears in paper, note down that national park and where it is located, and note down if there is any specific flora or fauna in this tiger reserve or any national park. Here we can see this Bandipur is located in Karnataka, and we can see another tiger reserve called Nagar-Old in Karnataka, Sariska Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan, Annamalai Tiger Reserve in Tamil Nadu. Just note down all these reserves. Our next article is data localization is no solution. What is meant by data localization? Data localization means storing the data on any device. For example, storing the data in a laptop that is present within the borders of a specific country where the data was generated. For example, there is a laptop in India. As per the data localization, all the data that was being accessed in this laptop has to be stored within India. This is called as data localization, and this concept was recommended by Justice Sri Krishna Committee, which we have seen 2 days back in the recommendations of Justice Sri Krishna Committee on Data Protection Report. And here we can see that the Data Protection Bill is an opportunity for in India to be partner under this Cloud Act. What is this Cloud Act? Clarifying Lawful Overseas Use of Data Act. This act will enable the US government to enter into a bilateral agreement with a like-minded country for cross-border data sharing. We'll see the process. See, for example, let us consider a crime is committed in India and the suspect and the victim are both Indian citizens, but they used a US-based messaging service to plan the crime. So before this Cloud Act, the Indian investigating officer has to raise this request for the data to the US government. But after this Cloud Act, the investigating agency can directly request the information from the service provider instead of approaching the US government. So that this will remove the need of official permission from the US government to access the data of a US based company. And it will reduce the time that is being wasted in getting the permission from the officers. Our next article is statutory status for BC's panel. The Lok Sabha has passed this bill, 123rd Constitutional Amendment Bill, in order to grant constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Classes by repealing this National Commission for Backward Classes Act of 1993. By giving a constitutional status to this body, it will insert Article 338B in the Constitution. What does this National Commission for Backward Classes will do now? See, this commission will recommend the inclusion or exclusion of communities in the OBC list. And it will look into the matters that were related to the welfare and development of all the backward classes, and it will investigate the complaints of these backward classes. At present, it is the Scheduled Caste Commission. National Scheduled Caste Commission is the one which is looking into the atrocities against Dalits, and it is the National Scheduled Caste Commission only which is even hearing the grievances from OBCs. Now this new bill will allow the National Commission for Backward Classes looking to hear the grievances of this OBCs, and it will give it the powers of a civil court. And this commission will have a chairperson, a vice chairperson, and 3 other members to regulate the proceedings. And to pass this bill, it needs a constitutional amendment under Article 368. If we see the procedure for the constitutional amendment bill under Article 368, it can be introduced in any house of the parliament. It can be introduced either as a government bill or by a private member bill without any prior permission of the president. And it has to be passed in both the houses separately by a special majority. That is, majority of the total membership of the house and a majority of 2/3 of the members of the house present and voting. And in case of any disagreement between the houses, there is no provision of joint sitting to resolve the deadlock. And once the bill is passed by both the houses, it will be sent to the approval of president. And according to the 24th Amendment Act of 1971, the president should give his assent to a constitutional amendment bill. That means he can neither withhold the assent nor return the bill for reconsideration. Our next article is Jammu and Kashmir Governor seeks Navy's assistance to save Dal Lake. Now let us see what are some of the facts that are related to this Dal Lake. Dal Lake is in Srinagar, the summer capital of Jammu and Kashmir. As it is located in the city Srinagar, it is called as Urban Lake, and it is the second largest lake in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. As this lake is famous for tourism and recreation in Kashmir, it is also named as Jewel in the Crown of Kashmir or Srinagar's Jewel. And some of the important features of this Dal Lake is it has the largest tulip garden in Asia, and it is well known for its floating garden with lotus blooms. Now, the quality of this freshwater lake, the quality of water in this freshwater lake is getting deteriorated because of pollution that was caused by untreated sewage and solid waste that is being released into the water body. Because of the tourism and that is being attracted by this lake, so much of plastic waste is being generated, and all this solid waste is clogging the channels and affecting the circulation of water in the lake, by ultimately reducing the quality of water in the lake. This is where this Dal lake is located. This is a freshwater lake, and at its shore we can witness a Mughal garden called Shalimar Bagh, and we can see the tulip garden, which we said it is the largest tulip garden in the Asia. Whenever you see any lakes or rivers or country or any other features, just take the map and look at the location of that feature. So that, because even the geography, all these map based questions were also being asked in the prelims. Now let us see the questions from our today's video. Consider the following statements. Dal Lake is the largest freshwater lake in Asia. It is an urban lake situated in the city of Jammu. Second question is related to tiger reserves. Which of the following is incorrectly matched? Bandipur Tiger Reserve, Karnataka; Sariska Tiger Reserve, Rajasthan; Koringa Wildlife Reserve, Andhra Pradesh; Sundarban Tiger Reserve, Orissa. Try to answer these questions and post those answers in the comment box, and the detailed explanation for these questions will be discussed in our tomorrow's video. Thank you.